Wow.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coach Bruce and MJ Hurley joined here with Brandon Warren. It is our first show back from Indianapolis after the NFL Combine, so don't worry, we will talk about that later. But we have something very important to discuss today because baseball is back. And given that that's the fact, that's the place where Bruce and I met, was on the baseball field. So with that in mind, it's very important that we discuss some baseball today. We're joined here by Twins writer Brandon Warren, who has been on the show before. He was actually one of our very first guests a long time ago in May of 2020, or something like that, I want to say. So, Brandon, thank you for coming back on the show. First of all, sir, how's life treating you? You said you were on vacation. How is it being back to the work world? Because Bruce and I can relate to that.
Honestly, fine. I'm always happy to come back when I get back from a vacation, and so we're back from Oregon. We flew in and out of Portland, went down to the coast, hung out in Lake Oswego for a little bit, and I think we spent 4 nights, which was nice. But time to lock back in, and somehow they held off this new CBA until I got back, which was mighty nice of them, I must say.
It's very kind of them to wait for you.
They knew you were coming back right in time, so they were like, "Damn, Brandon's back. We got to make this, and we got to have him talk about it."
Well, and Jeff Passan getting hacked at the same time.
Yeah,
really, I would have missed that because when I was on vacation, I deleted Facebook and Twitter from my phone, so I was unplugged.
I respect that.
Yeah, I was unplugged. There was no desire in my mind to open either of those apps, and so we did good. We had a lot of fun walking the beach and all that good stuff.
So I gotta ask. So what did you guys end up doing there? Did you get any fishing in? Did you get any go to any breweries, or like what was the go-to of choice?
Well, we went to a lighthouse in Newport, so a little ways down from where we were staying in Lincoln City.
Okay.
Tried out a lot of the local fare, walked the beach a whole bunch, and we checked out an outlet mall. What else did we do? We kind of did all the ocean stuff. We're not a big fishing family. I went with my wife and daughter and in-laws, and then her aunt and uncle on the mom's side. So it was a lot of just kind of hanging out, playing cards and doing stuff, with the windows open and the ocean air breeze coming through and just unplugging. It was awfully nice.
Beautiful. So before we dive into the MLB talk, Brandon, what were the games of choice you were playing cards with? Because I used to be a big card guy, and obviously since you were with family, you probably weren't exchanging any kind of chips or anything like that.
Unfortunately,
not until the last night, and even then, those chips didn't represent anything. It was just a game called Left, Center, Right.
Okay.
And you roll a dice, and then you hand chips off and throw them in the middle, and whoever has chips at the end wins.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. There was one where you had to build up these piles in the middle, and then Muggins was what it was called. We played one that was sevens. They were usually good for either phase 10 or something like that. A lot of the basics. There's not a lot of the poker or anything like that. But
you were saying no Texas Hold'em. That's okay though.
Not until I was on the plane, and then I just played it on the video board, and even then I was getting massacred for fake dollars.
Oh yeah. Well, we're going to talk about dollars later with my shitty betting. But that being said, though. Speaking of massacred, the MLB was making a massacre of you like that. It's a professional transit.
Nice.
Yeah, that was good, right? They were making a massacre of communication and being able to talk to the MLBA with negotiations, but they were able to get something done. So I honestly want to start off super general with you. What are your thoughts on their negotiation tactics, and what are your thoughts on the old, I guess, holdout or lockout, from the owners?
Yeah, I mean, the most disappointing part was that it took over a month to pick up the phone and start anything. And beyond that, I mean, the rest of it, I think, was probably a semi-standard negotiation outside of the fact that it seemed like every time that they got allegedly close, MLB threw something else in there in terms of dropping lawsuits, dropping grievances, whatever. But at the end of the day, I think the players got a bit more of what they wanted. Owners got a bit more of what they wanted. Obviously, I think the best part, though, is that MLB PA, the union itself, showed a little more of an ability to dig in their heels than I think the owners expected. And so it's I think it bodes well for the fact that they won't roll over in 2027 or whatever it is for the next negotiation. They put up a good fight. They didn't get everything they wanted. They didn't get some of the concessions they wanted. But I think they hung in there tough long enough that the owners were just like, okay, this has got to be a serious negotiation. We're not messing with amateurs here. And I think that's beneficial.
Agree.
How much did Max Scherzer have to do with that? Because I know he was one of the more popular negotiators in terms of name, but he got a lot of credit, I want to say, for some of the hard negotiation tactics that the Players Association was using. Like you said, Major League Baseball is not expecting that. So if
Right.
Brandon, how much of that did go down to Max Scherzer?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it was a lot. I mean, you look at him and the kind of individual he is on the field, and then you look at him personally, and it sounds like he's pretty intense. It's not, the same manner, because who the guy is on the field and off the field is going to be different. But I think he's a shrewd negotiator, and he probably provided some pretty good resistance for ownership because they needed that. And I thought too, excuse me, a lot of people were like, well, what's the point of the guy making $40 million negotiating for all the guys making 500, 600K? And it's, Lindor, same deal. These are the successes of the system that's been in place. So why wouldn't you want them to represent you if you are a Jonathan India or a Vladimir Guerrero Jr., guys who stand to get paid but aren't getting paid right now? Why wouldn't you want somebody who followed the system as it was laid out before, got paid and everything? I feel like those are the guys I'd want to represent me, as opposed to, guys who are ARB 2 or ARB 1 and still kind of figuring this whole thing out. And they had guys like that too. It's a good bit of representation across the board, where you got young guys, medium, service time type guys, and then the guys who are making as much as anybody will make in the game this year. I think it all made sense. And I think that was a big part too of what went into it. Was they, Scherzer and those guys did a nice job of keeping the pressure on owners and showing them they weren't going to fold.
And Brandon, can you break down real quick for us? I know it was a very complicated negotiation, but what was it that was kind of holding the players and the owners apart at first? And then in the last 24 hours or so, where did they finally come together to a point where they can play?
Yeah, I think a big part of it was the CBT, competitive balance and basically the luxury tax, trying to figure all that out, because owners don't want it to be where it's expected they'll spend more. Players are like, let's keep nudging this up. If it's acting like a de facto salary cap, it needs to be higher. And they got, in some respects, concessions there that they were hoping for. They also wanted a pre-arbitration or arbitration pool. I'm trying to remember. Basically, any players who are not eligible for free agency who can get performance-based pay, which we've seen in the NFL, and it works quite well. Then towards the end, I think the final hurdles to clear, for the most part, might have been kicked down kick down the road, so to speak, as far as international draft and qualifying offers and all that. I know they have till late July to figure out the international draft stuff, but those to me should not have been that big of issues to get across the finishing line. Once the CBT stuff and the bonus pools for arbitration eligibles and all that got figured out, I kind of thought it would come together pretty fast, and technically it did, but it was just funny to hear what issue was the last one they addressed. It wasn't the biggest one or anything like that. They jumped all the big hurdles, and then there was a small hurdle at the end that took a little while to leap, and I can kind of understand why fans were a little confused by that.
So something smaller that they're going to be implementing this year is advertisements on jerseys, and I'm not sure if you feel the same way that I do about this. While no, I'm not. I don't mind it in basketball. I don't mind it in football. But for whatever reason, that whole tradition thing with baseball, as a Cubs fan, it strikes me as like, damn, I don't know if I want to see that. So, what are your thoughts on the advertisements on jerseys?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're a Yankees fan too, you'd feel the same way. I mean, these are the stripes that Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth wore, and there is some bit of sacredness to that. I think eventually it'll become a thing where we don't even notice. I mean, you look at soccer or football jerseys overseas, and it's got all the different advertisements, and it's literally a part of the deal now. We're just so used to it. I think we'll eventually get there, but I agree. I'm not in favor of it. There's a lot of changes though that I'm not in favor for, and then it kind of comes full circle. I'm like, it's not that big of a deal. The pitch clock comes to mind, and wanting players to not step out of the box and all that. These are the things I thought would bother me more, and didn't. Whereas 7-inning doubleheaders and runners on second base, that's probably more along the lines of how much it might bother me for these ads. I think it's something I'll just eventually get used to and be like, whatever. But right now I'm 75% out, 25% in, and I don't think I'm going to change anytime soon.
For the Twins, who would they put on there?
Ooh, good
probably
question.
Target. I mean, Target's their sponsor for the stadium, but they, they've had Ford sponsorships. They've had Dodge. Because Dodge sponsored the big baggy fence ahead in right field for many, many years. Otherwise, local stuff is 3M, Land O'Lakes. Those are kind of the big ones. General Mills. So there's a lot of opportunities. I'm just trying to think if there'd be a way to seamlessly integrate it. I mean, 3M is, I think, red, but it's white and red, I think.
It's red.
Yeah, it's possible. Right. So I think it'd be something local like that. There's plenty of local companies around here that I think would put up the cash for that, and I think the Twins would be happy to return the favor.
So one of the things that I wanted to actually ask you about with the Twins being they're not a super small market, but a smaller market type team. One of the sticking points in negotiations with the Major League Baseball and the Major League Baseball Players Association was the lottery and implementing the lottery so teams won't tank.
Right.
I can see that working out very well only because of the fact that, like, yes, it'll be similar to what the NBA does. You have a certain percentage to get the first pick, second pick, third pick. But do you really think that will help in creating a more balanced teams, or more, I guess, a better chance for smaller market teams to win on a consistent basis? Only because if you're a smaller market type team, you're probably just going to leave and try to seek a bigger contract somewhere else. Mm-hmm. So do you really think that's going to make a difference?
Yeah, I'm not really sure, because if you take in the NBA, for instance, you're getting most years a Zion Williamson, right, LeBron James back in the day level talent. I mean, the year the Wolves had that pick and got Anthony Edwards, there was questions of if he was worth the number one pick.
Right.
But for the most part, if you tank in the NBA, it works. You can end up like the Thunder back in the day that had Harden and Westbrook and Durant and all that. And whereas with MLB, maybe the best example of that was Strasburg and Harper going back to back, but that's so excessively rare that to me, it should help get rid of some of it. But in the same point, I never really thought tanking made all that much sense in the first place. It's once you invite a losing culture, and this is one thing I believe that's outside of data, is if you invite a losing culture willingly, that's really hard to wash out of the fabric of your team. And so I've always thought tanking in MLB was really dumb. And then beyond that, if you are the worst tanking team when all these teams are tanking, you're still picking 10th overall. So that didn't do anything. And you still have to make the right pick. I mean, the number one overall might have a better chance, or he might be, Matt Bush and make it to the big leagues as a reliever 7 years later. It's tanking to me has never, ever made sense in MLB. And I think anything that they do to take away the potential of it, however small, is, it's a worthwhile thing to do.
Fair.
So, Brandon, I'm going to be selfish here and ask about the Oakland A's.
Sure.
And I told Bruce before the show, he's like, I'm going to wear my Cubs hat. I'm like, I refuse to wear my A's stuff. I will eventually. Once the season starts, I will. At least right now, I'm going to be petty and not wear my A's stuff because they won't spend any freaking money. And they're trying to live in the Billy Bean Moneyball past. And this applies to the A's and other teams as well. But like the Tampa Bay Rays have actually been successful doing this, unlike the A's. So is there any future where teams like the A's, Rays, Pirates actually spend money? Or for the foreseeable future, are they still going to spend $50 million and try their hardest to live out their Hollywood dream where they win a World Series doing that?
Yeah, I mean, I still have a hard time really understanding what's going to push those teams upward. Or Cleveland, for instance, if you want an AL Central counterpart. I don't know that I still see an impetus on those teams to spend, especially when they aren't in that competitive window or that expected competitive window. Expanding playoffs a bit should help that. But in the sense, too, if you can make the playoffs at 88 wins or you can make the playoffs at 84 wins and it doesn't cost you the extra $7 million for a fifth starter, how are they going to view that? Are they going to not spend that money instead? Honestly, it's everything you're kind of begging from one side to steal or stealing from one side to give to the other. And I think you just have to kind of let it play out and look at it again the next CBA, because every time you make a new rule, there's unintended consequences. They brought in instant replay and nobody stopped to think of, okay, well, what if a guy's foot comes off a base for a split second when he slides in? Oh, I guess he's out, So in some respects, it's just going to have to be tweak the rules, see how it goes, and realize too that owners, GMs, players, everybody's always going to go right up to the line in terms of legality and finding those loopholes, which, they're always going to exist. It's just a matter of where they lie.
I think the term is steal from Pete to pay Paul.
Peter to Paul, yep.
Yeah, but so to speak to the money aspect that MJ just brought up and that you talked about as well. So I don't know if you heard about it because you were on vacation, but the Ricketts family was a part of the potential to bid for the Chelsea FC team. That's also the same family that said they suffered catastrophic losses monetarily during the 2020 and 2021 beginning portion of their season. Do you think that plays a factor in at all of the negotiations that happened or that just occurred? And on a more selfish note, as a Cubs fan, I have to ask you this as well. Do you think they're actually going to put money into the Chicago Cubs to try to win now or compete now?
Well, what is you say, Chelsea?
Yeah.
What's their value compared to the Cubs? Are they comparable?
That is a great question.
Because it's obviously not a good look to cry poor, so to speak, and then bid for a team that's equal value or maybe even more.
$4
I'm
billion.
guessing, Chelsea's going to be just as much or more, right?
$4 billion for Chelsea.
And what are the Cubs, $2 or $3 billion?
They're probably about there.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just a bad look, and I think the players
3.6.
Yeah, so right there. I'm not surprised. I figured that Chelsea would be worth maybe even a bit more in comparison.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bad look, and it's especially a bad look after you flip Anthony Rizzo and you let Javier Baez sign somewhere else, and you go get Pete Crow Armstrong, but it costs you the last couple months with Baez, a fan favorite and all that. I mean, it's a bad look, but I think players see through that, and that kind of was why negotiations were as difficult as they were. I think the owners underestimated the players at first, and the players really, really stuck to their guns. I mean, for the most part, they obviously didn't get everything they wanted, but they definitely got some concessions that I didn't think were going to happen, which is a feather in their cap.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as them spending money,
I
mean, they already did on Stroman, right?
True.
So I feel like that. Got the dog barking here. Sorry about that.
Okay.
I feel like that that Stroman got spent on is probably a good indicator that they're going to spend some money. But I'm not thinking they're going to bring in a Freddie Freeman or anything. Maybe a reunion with Anthony Rizzo or something.
Yay!
Yeah, I know you're not going to like that.
Yay!
So Brandon, last question I have for you, sir, is something you mentioned when we were hanging out before the show is free agency. You're fine.
My dog's like looking around right now, just like
you're fine. Bruce's dog.
How loud is it? I hope it's not that loud. But
no,
you're fine.
He's a puppy, and he's been at the kennel for the last 5 days, so he's getting.
Yep, I've been barking like that too. We brought up before the show, free agency started too.
Yeah.
And hypothetically, it already started, according to the reports we have. So
yeah, it's awfully slow, but right,
really hot start. So what's going to happen with that? Is it going to be a really slow start, or are teams just going to go crazy now that they can actually spend their money?
Yeah, what I thought about too was if we've watched the Twins under this current regime, they've always waited until late in the offseason to sign guys.
Yeah.
And I kind of wondered how that would play this season, where the end of the offseason was always a moving target as far as how long it would be. Would it be a month after the lockout lifted, or like we're going to see about a week or 3 to 4 days? I think it's actually going to be maybe even more of a ruckus because you get the idea that maybe the prices will come down at this time of the spring like they usually do.
Yeah.
Now there's going to be more teams interested in Nelson Cruz and especially in Universal DH and Jorge Soler. And there might be teams that are like, oh, jeepers, there's only a couple good starters left if you really like Yusei Kikuchi or you are willing to gamble on Carlos Rodon.
Yeah.
I think the prices might actually be higher. I think they might. And I think that would be surprising in the sense that we don't usually see it. But I think the frenzy is going to whip up, and there's not enough pitching left to go around for teams that still have money to spend. There's enough hitters. Maybe hitting prices will be a little lower than we thought. But honestly, it's going to get wild, and maybe even before we all go to bed tonight.
It's gonna get crazy. I really think so too.
Yeah, like calm before the storm.
I agree. So before we let you go here, Brandon, do you have a prediction for the AL Central? Because I know obviously we're a Chicago market. There's a lot of guys that end up watching us that are huge White Sox fans. I like giving them shit because I'm a Cubs fan. Do you have anything to say about predictions for this upcoming season?
I mean, I think they're going to win the division with like 92 wins. I don't think it's going to be a runaway. I think the Twins will be pretty good. I think Kansas City or Detroit, one of them will spike up. And I think Cleveland's going to be good enough with their pitching to win 78, 80 games. And so it's going to be really hard to run away with this division as opposed to the last couple years where, the Twins beat up on some guys and the White Sox beat up on some guys. It's going to be a very competitive division. I'm not sure that Detroit or Kansas City is ready to ride near the top, but they're going to push through, and it's going to be a tough one to crack. I'm taking the White Sox.
Fair enough. So real quick before MJ, I'm sorry, I got to give Brandon some pub here. If you guys want to follow some interesting talks, writing, great podcast, it's at Access Twins, ACCESS Twins, TWINS. Great follow right there. If you want to follow Brandon directly, it's at Brandon_WARNE. It's written below. Please give the guy a follow. It's a great dude right here. Hilarious guy, always entertaining, and he enjoys Coors Lights on occasion.
Yes, I do. Not often as I used to, but yes, I do.
Fantastic. Well, Brandon, we appreciate having you as always. Definitely have to do this again soon during the season. So thank you for coming on our little show. We appreciate you, and we hope you have a good evening, sir.
All right. Thanks, boys. Be good.
Always.
Talk to you later. Boom.
Awesome. Always good dude. Always good dude. Very good dude. Love what he had to say. Oh man. So should we? All right. So I don't know. Like usually, like right now, we would use to like commercial or whatever. But
we have you have a little story to tell.
Oh man. Oh, do we? Oh man. All right. Wait, which one are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about
exactly what we're talking
about.
We're
going to talk about my endeavor of
yes.
Being absolutely shit-faced drunk.
Yes.
All right. No, that's fine. All right. So this is good stuff, though, you guys. This is good stuff. All right. So we end up leaving. The wait. So the whole thing? Are we going to do the whole thing?
Well, not the whole thing. Just like. I was just going for your quick little one hitter and then
quick little one hitter. All right, so I'll go with this. All right, so the best part was after we ended up leaving the convention. Hold on, wait. Just got a text. Oh, this is live. Hold on.
What do we got?
Hold on. Oh, there we go. Anyway, nothing crazy. Check your phone. But so real quick, so what ended up happening was awesome, which was absolutely super fun though, was we ended up going to, and I'm sure we ended up talking about this multiple times last week because me and my charades probably said it repeatedly, but we ended up going to Slippery Noodle.
Yep.
So while at the Slippery Noodle, they were very generous with the amount of beverage they gave when you requested strong adult drinks.
A lot of apple juice.
Oh my God. So we decided to have a shot of Jameson. And man, when I say one shot ended up being like a really good pour. Really good pour. So had one. I was okay with it. Whatever. This was after we left the convention. Whom, by the way, it was behind us, but at the bar in the a bar at the hotel. It was actually Cliff Kingsbury that was sitting behind us.
Oh, I knew that guy looked familiar.
Yeah, that's Cliff Kingsbury, and then right next to him, the table next to him was Jack Del Rio.
Right, we knew that.
Right, we knew that, but then I looked and I saw like that, and I was like, he looked familiar. And then I ended up looking, and it was Cliff Kingsbury. Anyway.
Oh my gosh, of course it was.
Yeah. Too bad it wasn't like Matt Nagy. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, we would have recognized him real quick.
Oh man, I'd have been like, "Be you, dog, be you." Anyway,
oh gosh,
so
I would have had to hold you back.
No,
you would have gone crazy.
I wouldn't have said anything. I did say something to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, you did,
coach. That was funny. Anyway, so they at the Slippery Noodle in Indiana, which I highly suggest going. I'm going to give them another shout out.
Oldest bar in Indiana.
Oldest bar in Indiana is haunted. Was also a part of the Underground Railroad. Was also what was his name? What was the dude's name? Not Wyatt Earp. What was the name of the guy? No, not the no, not the dude that haunts it. What was the name of the? Hold on, I gotta find it. I had it earlier.
I have no clue what you're talking about, Bruce.
Hold on, no, there was a name. The guy that shot the bullets.
Oh,
that's what I'm talking about. Hold on.
I got no idea.
Hold on. I just did a quick Google search and John Dillinger. Boom, got it.
There we go.
Yeah, so it was really cool. Like the original portion of the bar is still there from the 1800s, where John Dillinger shot like slugs in the side of it, and which is really cool. And it's kind of funny because now that I say that, I'm totally tangenting like always.
Sure.
My wife and I are watching the show Peaky Blinders. Peaky Blinders, and
oh no,
love it. And people, she just yelled out. I don't know if anyone heard. But if you watch it, you'll understand the reason why. Because like you see bullet holes, you think of like gangsters, 1920s.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Anyway, the bar was awesome, so much fun, but they're very generous on their pours. That being said, so I don't even remember all of it. That's how bad it was.
Shocker.
Sorry.
What? Continue.
Shocking, your dick. So we ended up leaving. We left the media stuff, and then we're like, all right, let's grab a bite to eat. We ended up going there. 5 to 7 shots and some beers later. And when I say 5, no, it was 5. When I say 5 shots, it was just me that had those 5 shots, and yeah, it was bad. And again, generous pours, and actually a lot of them, two of which were free because our server, if you remember correctly, said that I couldn't take them. Do you remember that?
That is correct. I do remember that.
I was like, is she serious? Is she like she has no idea who she's talking to?
She was talking mad smack.
Yeah, but you know what though? She gave the most shit to Richie, who unfortunately is not.
That poor guy. He was getting destroyed.
I know. I feel bad, and I actually do have to apologize to him too. We'll get to that point. But anyway, so we left there. I ended up going to another bar, left that bar, ended up coming back to Slippery Noodle and having drinks there. So needless to say, we were pretty we were pretty good. And I ended up having making friends with people at the bar, having conversations. And
you made friends with a sailor.
With a sailor, yeah. Him and I, it was pretty cool talking with that guy. Thank you for your services, sir. I repeatedly said that. And we ended up having a shot that totally put me over the top. It was done. It's a very inappropriate name for a shot, so I'm not going to repeat it here.
Probably a good idea.
So that being said, had that, and that it was night. It was night after that.
It was not just night. It was sleep. It was gone.
It was done.
It was.
It was done. And so at that point,
Gosh.
MJ was pretty toasty. Richie was surprisingly the only person that was sober.
Yeah.
And so we ended up leaving. So thankfully to you guys, thank you to you guys. They walked me back to my hotel room to make sure that I was okay. I was very
hot minute.
It's a 5-minute walk that ended up probably being over a half hour because of a stubborn 200-pound asshole that decided to do whatever he wanted to do and say hello.
You're strong. Like, okay, let me just tell you, Richie and I are both 6'3". Like, we are both bigger dudes. And we are, like, in front of Lucas Oil, struggling to move you towards your hotel. And, like, you were fairly nice about it sometimes.
Sometimes. Okay, so real quick, I do have to apologize to Richie. I did try swinging at Richie. and I have to apologize to Alex. Alex is an awesome guy. So I told, like, he hates my guts. But he was trying to help also with the whole idiocracy of 200-pound asshole.
And Bruce, let me give you credit because I know you're talking during the week that you could go crazy on that 225 on the bench press. After that, I believe you. I believe you. Let me just say that because, again, Richie and I are not weak. We're not small humans. And, when you said you could, keep up with some of those combine guys on there, I'm like, I don't know. But after,
well, thank you.
Going toe to toe, yes, you can.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Like I said, the funny thing is like I wasn't sore or anything like that afterwards.
That makes me so mad. Not that I was sore, but like there were 3 of us and one of you. You should have been sore.
Yeah, I'm good. It was
I hate you.
But no, it was. But at the same time, though, like I said, it was to go back to what to the whole experience of all of it. I loved it. It was so much fun. I think the one regret I do have, aside from, actually, I don't even really regret all that much, but but again, sorry, Alex. So Alex, if you are watching, I do apologize to you too. And yeah, but the one thing I do regret though is us not doing a live shot from Lucas Oil. We should have done that. That'd have been smart.
No, I still say no.
Really? I don't know, man. I thought that would have been kind of cool.
Well, because there was not a spot to do it without owners and GMs literally staring at us.
True. No,
I don't particularly want to get blacklisted from the NFL at 21 years old.
That's fair.
Like, if there was a place we could have done it with a good view, because we could have done it in front of like an empty concession stand, but that's not interesting.
It wasn't even empty either because actually, what's funny? So that's another place I ended up having a beer, by the way. Adam,
literally the only media member.
No, that's not true because I ended up finding out somebody from ESPN, I'm not going to say their name, ended up having a beer. So I won't say their name, but that's legit the reason why I was like, you know what? I'm going to have a beer. Fuck it.
Okay, can we talk about that, by the way, though? And this is me tangenting, which doesn't happen often.
Go for it.
The fact that we broke news and we were right. Like,
oh, yes.
If you think so, for those of you who don't know, Bruce and I together broke news that there was a specific price on Aaron Rodgers.
This is gold.
Like, actually, we're not willing
tell
to
a story about that. You tell a story about that. That was awesome.
We overheard something, had a conversation with somebody, and we're able to definitively say that there was a price on Aaron Rodgers that was about 3 to 4 first-round draft picks as the starting price, and that the Broncos were, and I quote, unwilling to pay that price. Then, I get into a Twitter fight with Benjamin Albright,
Who, if you don't know,
started an entire media firestorm.
if you don't know who Benjamin Albright is, he is the writer for the Denver Broncos.
Yes. So incredible Denver following there, obviously. And he has been the one leading the Aaron Rodgers to Denver train. So,
I mean, I don't blame him.
and I don't blame him at all. But it was just hilarious because then, what basically happened, and I talked to Rob Domofsky about this a little bit, was Albright then called Denver when he saw what I put out, started asking about Rodgers to Denver again. Then somebody in Denver is like, hey, we're getting calls about Rodgers to Denver. So he tells Ian Rappaport, who then says Rodgers is still torn about his future because he's getting calls about Rodgers to Denver. And then Schefter reports Rodgers is not going to Denver. And then it just snowballed. So we accidentally created an entire media firestorm around Aaron Rodgers, which I think is hilarious. And I don't know if it played a part in the way he announced his coming back or what it was.
It didn't. But the one thing is we did end up causing a little bit of a stir. And the cool thing about it is, and I was hoping that you would like expand on the actual story of it a little bit more, but I'll totally do it because I actually thought it was pretty fucking cool. So the one thing that MJ is very, very good at is articulating everything he wants in a professional manner. Obviously, we've seen this. We know this for the past like 2 years. I've known it very fortunately for the past 7 years. I know that he's very good about it. Whereas me, I'm very meat and potatoes. I'm just like, here it is, fuck you, whatever, done.
Including on the table,
including the fuck you. But the really funny thing about it is we go about everything we do in a way that is really creepily similar. And example being, it was it was myself, it was MJ, it was Richie. I'm going to tell this one first. And Richie, and it was Alex. I think Alex was with us. Was Alex with us?
Yeah, so Richie and Alex are walking behind us.
Correct. So MJ and I are just talking. And at this point, it was nothing crazy. It was just having a conversation about, what we're going to do. I was actually
just gotten there.
You're right. I just got there and I just noticed like the Big Ten was there. And I don't even know if I brought it up at that point, but I was like, damn, I kind of want to watch a girls' Big Ten basketball game.
You would not shut up about it.
I know I did want to watch one. Whatever. It's a college basketball game, and I wanted to go see it.
We have credentials to the NFL Combine, and this man wants to watch, no offense, women's college basketball. I don't want to watch it.
I'm a basketball coach, and including with that, I am a fan of sports, and experiences like that don't come often. So, you pull anyway. So we were talking about something. And Richie's bitching about the stale bagels. And
oh my gosh,
we're walking.
Or Roger Goodell. Like, I swear that probably got back to him too.
Probably. And while we're walking, MJ and I end up walking past a gentleman who lanyards played an important role at the NFL Combine. Red lanyards, which we had, signified that you were a media member. Green lanyards signified you were a part of a team. Whatever aspect, could be scouting, coaching, whatever.
Front office,
whatever, you're a part of that and a particular NFL team. So MJ and I are walking along with Richie and Alex behind us, and there's a gentleman with a green lanyard on and some gear. And I don't even know if he had gear on. I think maybe it was a scout. I don't even know. I don't even remember specifically. But
he did have gear on.
I just remember him say on the phone talking, and he's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, to get Rodgers, they wanted 3 to 4 first rounders, and Devontae Adams like another first rounder, and that's just too high of a price. So, but when he said Rodgers, at that moment, our gait or our walk significantly slowed. Like,
because Bruce works at a very fast pace. And my dad was a high school teacher for 33 years. And so whenever he wants to go anywhere, he has to move it. So I learned that from him
and I'm just a fast
very
walker.
quickly. So Bruce and I both walk very quickly, and we slowed down very quickly.
Oh yeah, it was a crawl at that point. And then Richie and Alex like almost bumped into us. And and then they kind of like were like, "Oh shit, okay, this is what we're doing right now." And we overheard it. As soon as we heard it, the first thing that came to our mind was like, "All right, let's go to the computers right now and fucking like put this out there. Let's blow this shit up."
Yeah, because the person in question was wearing a green lanyard and he had on a blue
Denver Broncos
pullover.
Correct.
And was dressed, I don't think he was a scout. But he was dressed a little bit more professionally. All the scouts we saw were just wearing like sweats, so it's possible. But it very much looked like a front office person.
Yeah, no, it was, and it was just really crazy. And let me tell you guys. So now that I'm able to like actually talk to you guys about it better, when you walked in to that media area, and as someone who like MJ's seen kind of some stuff like this through school and shit like that, but coming from a guy like me right here, like, and I'm sure the people, whoever's watching currently and whoever will end up seeing this video, I by no means am a media person. I'm just fucking like some schmuck that has a camera and a laptop and drinks beer and, you know, jumped on Amazon and bought a mic. I walked in there and I'm seeing legitimate stuff. We saw the announcement, or we got the announcement that the NFL lifted COVID protocols there before it was announced. Like, it was just really fucking crazy to be able to experience that and to know these things and be able to witness Kevin Fishbane, who I'm sorry I lost your email, dog. You got to let me know. Talk to him and have him give me his email. Then me forget, like always. Go figure. And talk to those guys and just see them get awards, see him get an award, and get them talk about Jeff Dickerson. God bless your soul. Like it was something that was absolutely surreal. And as a fan of sports, as a fan of just everything that a lot of those guys do, it's like, damn, that was really freaking cool.
Yeah, and I'll reiterate, and this is something I actually talked to my dad about when I was driving home. What you said last week, Bruce,
how drunk I was. What?
No. Just the amount of ridiculous hard work that goes into covering the combine. So there's multiple levels to it. Like, there were the first 2 days Richie and I were there. We were there by 7, and we didn't stop working until about 10 p.m.
Right. And then I got there, and that completely changed.
And it threw everything out the window. But the media workroom opened every day at 6 and closed at 10. Yeah. And I wholeheartedly believe there were guys who were in there the entire time.
I agree.
Who were in that building the entire time. So, when you're, and this is one of the few times I will like go after some people, when you're ripping into writers on Twitter for their story,
well said,
or things like that, just know that, first of all, this is, people's livelihood. This is what they're doing for a living. So obviously the majority of the people who cover sports, the majority of the people who report on sports do it because they love it. That's why I'm doing it. That's why Bruce wants to do it, because we love sports. It's done so much in our lives that we want to kind of give back, if you want to say that, and provide some insight into what we do and the sports we love. But at the same time, people put so much hard work into it. When you see a Rob Domofsky story about Aaron Rodgers and his relationship with Matt LaFleur, he's drawing on hours and hours and hours of experience talking to Rodgers and LaFleur. He's spending an entire day literally at the NFL Combine writing that story. Man spent all of Thursday writing that story for it to go out Friday morning. So again, this is one of the few times I will kind of go after people and outwardly defend the media, because it sounds stupid because I'm a part of it. But just know, and this goes back to what Bruce said last week when we had our show, it is ridiculous how much people work on some of this stuff. So just kind of have that in the back of your mind. Like, imagine if some idiot on Twitter, after you work an 8-hour day in construction or something like that, came on and was like, that road looks like shit.
Well, right.
Like, that would just feel awful. So, there may be the Twitter wall, but know that if you watch Rob Domofsky worked for an entire day in the workroom writing an article and then, read it on a paper right in front of him, you would not bash him.
No. Hey, it's all right. So basically, and I'm totally to go along with that. You know what I thought of right away was like the bashing. It's easy to bash over the internet. It's fine. It's
so easy.
Everyone's a critic now, and dude, I'm a critic. It is what it is. Like, but it just gave me a different perspective, and it was pretty freaking cool. That being said, I had somebody that said, "Who the fuck is Coach Bruce?" That might have been
that made our week.
That was legit the best thing that I've seen in such a long time. Say that shit. I was like, "Hey, man, fucking Coach Bruce."
Coach Bruce.
Coach Bruce. No, it was cool. I get it. That's fine. It's whatever, dude. And to be honest with you, the guy had a picture like that when he was golfing. I guarantee you, he's probably a better golfer than I am. But I'll go golfing with him, and I'll probably whoop his ass in golf. But like I said, he's probably a better golfer.
Oh my gosh,
still whoop his ass. Anyway, that being said, I wholeheartedly agree. It was just it was very surreal. It was really cool. And like, again, it's a craft and they are experts at their craft. Let them do it. That being said, you can disagree and that's fine, but just understand that they are putting in a lot more hours than you are.
Yes.
That's it.
With
including me. And even though I'm a media person now, I'm considered a media. I guess I am media now.
You are media.
It's fucked up.
That's just how it be.
How am I media? Do you really think that this? Anyway, so we're gonna. So real quick. Now, I wanted to actually like do a professional. Again, another transition into this. But speaking of Aaron Rodgers coming back to Green Bay, which is fine, honest to God. Like First of
all, you're gonna look me in the eyes and say you were right.
Oh yeah, no, you were right.
Thank you. Okay, continue.
You were right. That's fine. I don't give a shit. Whatever. You were right. But Aaron Rodgers is coming back to Green Bay. That's fine. Whatever. You were right. Ridiculous amount of money. You know what he did for his teammate? He said, "Hey, man, you take that franchise tag. You don't get a deal, but you get that franchise tag and get to talk to them more to potentially get that contract. I'm going to get the biggest contract in history. So fuck you."
You know that 4-year deal is not correct, right?
Yeah. Well, until it actually comes out, it's official.
No,
it hasn't come out yet.
No, I'm telling you, he's not signing a 4-year deal.
No, I know, but it still hasn't come out.
Telling you.
It still hasn't come out. It's probably it's going to be. If I had to guess, it's a 2-year deal with a 3rd-year option. If I had to guess, and that's me guessing. But anyway, I digress. That's just me guessing. But so as I was saying, we'll talk about this later off air or something like that. What I was going to say was I think, and while I should know, I'm not going to speculate because I'm not going to be that person. However, the trade, I'm going to speak to my actual opinion on this. The trade that happened today with the Chicago Bears and your new team that you are covering, the Chargers, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was a great trade. I think it was a smart thing for the Bears to do. Do I wish that they would have gotten more? Yes, I do. But you don't know what the extent of the injury that Khalil Mack had last year was. It was never really talked about extensively.
It was never named.
No, never. It was just a foot, and that was it. But agree. Me too. I'm gonna highlight that bad boy right there. Boom. Been depressed. I'm gonna help you out. All right. So Night God, I'm gonna help you out and make you feel better about this. Okay, buddy. All right. So the trade, it's fine. They got this year a 2nd round pick. They don't have a 1st round, so they have 2 2nd rounders this year and a 6th round pick next year. That's fine. They should have gotten more, but that's fine. So you're not going to have a defense that's going to. They're making a transition scheme wise. They're going from a 3-4 to a 4-3, and essentially it's a cover 2 defense. It's an old school, that old like Lovie Smith base type defense. Are they going to add different like wrinkles to it? Of course they are. They're going to. Would Khalil Mack been better in that? Maybe. You know why? Because he would have been like, in a 3-point stance the whole time. You wouldn't have to be like, why the fuck is Khalil Mack going into coverage? I was so pissed off about that. I was. But that being said, were the Chicago Bears going to compete for the NFC North this year?
No.
Were the Chicago Bears going to compete for a NFC championship this year?
Definitely no.
Were the Chicago Bears going to compete for the Super Bowl this year?
No.
Not at all. You had a team that Poles got that only had 5 draft picks when he took it over. Now he's got 2 more. Awesome. And last one, this is another big one. The Chicago Bears are going to have $121 million of cap space in 2023. So you're going to have a year. Yes, they're going to be under 5.5 years, 5.5 wins. But next year, you're going to have a team that has $121 million of cap space with a lot of potential. And you got to think, too, you have a rookie quarterback who hopefully makes a big step in an offensive system this year will be better than the complicated stuff that Matt Nagy was running. All right. And I'm going to say complicated stuff only because that's what I've heard and that's what I've heard on the radio. And that's what, I'm just going to let that go. I whatever. If you disagree with me, I'm cool with it. Whatever. If you want to say Matt Nagy, whatever your opinion is, you can say it.
Can I pause and pulley you in tangent for 30 seconds?
Yeah. Go for it.
Bruce at the combine stared Kansas City Chiefs executive in the eyes. Would have shook his hand if he could have and said, I hope Matt Nagy works out better for you guys than he did in Chicago. If that executive could have slapped Bruce in the face, he would have.
He's like,
it'll be fine. Like, he wanted to kill him. And Bruce was just like, no care in the world.
I did say it. I didn't
care. Oh, my gosh.
Like, what are you going to do, dude? Shut up.
It was the most Bruce thing I've ever seen in my life. Anyway, continue.
Anyways, and then you appreciated it. You totally did it.
Like, I thought it was hilarious.
At first, MJ's like, MJ turns back. He's like, you're an asshole. And I was like, what?
There's no reason to do that. Was it funny? Yeah. But at the same, was it totally something Bruce would do? Yes. And that's why I was just like, okay.
Well, it was me wishing luck to Matt Nagy.
Oh, no, it was not.
It was 100%.
It was you wishing like sarcastic luck to that poor executive.
But anyway, that poor guy.
That poor guy was like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, right. But anyway, so no, but I genuinely do think that it's better that the Bears are going this route than continuing the route down mediocrity lane, taking a right into garbage, and then falling off a fucking cliff into last place in the NFC North. That's it.
That's fair. And
to be honest with you, like, yes, like I would genuinely say if the Bears were to hold, I would have been more hopeful as a Detroit Lions fan if the Chicago Bears kept Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace this year. I'd have been more, you know what I'm saying? I would have been more hopeful.
I agree.
I would have been like, damn, dude, the Lions at least have a fucking coach that like shows some kind of freaking like, let's go. It doesn't have like, I'm not going to, I don't know. I think it's a great trade. I think that it's going to be an open house. It's going to be a rebuild. Let it happen. Again, you have Justin Fields on a rookie contract. You have what? 3 years left on that. 4th year is optional. Let's see what happens with Fields. If you can get him to develop, go for it. Get him some offensive linemen and get him a wide receiver that he can develop with. And who knows? You don't know.
So I'm gonna do a really bad job of tying this together, but I'm gonna tie 2 things together here. I said last week on our show, like, please, Chicago Bears, just put an offensive line around Justin Fields so he can try and make some reads and try and make some plays. I'm going to tie this in because I talked to an NFL scout who said that Mitchell Trubisky, another Bears quarterback that was taken very high, Bears spent a lot of assets into him, very comparable situation to Justin Fields.
Top NFL quarterback or top draft pick in the NFL, or what was it? What was it termed? The top quarterback in the NFL draft this year is Mitchell Trubisky.
Yes. Sorry, what that NFL scout said was If Trubisky was in this draft, he would be the number one
pick.
He also said, if you just build a roster around Mitchell Trubisky, he's going to be successful. Basically saying the Bears screwed him over. He's very talented. And if you give him a roster built around his skill set, he's going to succeed. With that being said, what I'm hearing is at least $10 million a year for Mitchell Trubisky. Somebody is going to give him.
It's going to be the Giants. It's going to be the Giants.
I don't know who it's going to be. The quarterback market right now, we could possibly see an incredible amount of movement. Derek Carr is not safe. Kirk Cousins is not safe. Daniel Jones has never been safe. There are a lot of quarterbacks right now that are not safe, even though
I want to see him go. Dude, can you imagine Derek Carr, by the way, in Indianapolis?
I don't think it would be different than Carson Wentz there.
You think so? I think he's a better quarterback. I think he's a better quarterback than Wentz.
I think he's a better quarterback, but he doesn't fit their system as much.
Fair.
Wentz fit their system. He just didn't do it well. I just don't think. And the issue in Indianapolis is they don't have, like, if they go get Derek Carr, they're not going to have any assets. And so you're just screwing him over even more because he's going to have no support. And
Trubisky getting 3 years, $45 million. That's not out of
I would go 339 would be the max.
He'll get 40.
I don't know. I don't think he's going to get that many years. Nobody's going to want to commit to him for that many years. It'll be a 2-year 25. Would be the biggest that at least I would commit to giving him.
I like that. I like that thought process. Mitch getting an incentive heavy deal.
Yep.
I agree with that.
So it could top out at that type of AAV, but I doubt it. At least right now. Like, somebody's going to pay him. The more realistic would be 1 year, $15 million.
Damn,
that's more realistic.
That's a lot for a 1-year contract.
Yes, it is. And, probably $7 million of that would be incentives based. But it's somebody's going to do it because there are teams right now that need a quarterback.
All right, so I'm gonna make a bet. I'm gonna make a bet with you right now.
Okay.
If Mitchell Trubisky signs a contract over, so value-wise, so if it's like 1 year, $15 million, like you just said, then yes, I'll do it. So I'll just say yes to that. All right. So bless you. You got to do equivalency. I'm going to do equivalency type stuff. So I'll say if Trubisky signs a contract that is like, say, 3 years, $40 million, I will rock my Trubisky jersey next week.
Okay.
I will rock it the whole time, and I will. That's it. That's all I'm going to do.
It's probably good that you stopped there.
That's it. Yeah, I'm not in Indianapolis anymore.
Yeah, you're not.
But yeah, no, that's it. I'll rock my Trubisky jersey. I think I still have it somewhere.
I'm sure you do.
But yeah, no. So it's it'll be fun. I think it'll be a good. I think it's some good shit. I think so. To kind of wrap up a little bit of the football talk, because I do want to move on real quick to NCAA before we jump off.
Okay.
I think the Packers win the NFC North. I think the Packers win or contend for the NFC Championship, and they're Super Bowl favorites again. They are in that area. Do I like Rodgers? No, I think he's fucking annoying, and I feel bad for you. I've said this before to you as a fan. I feel bad for you guys to have to experience again another freaking quarterback in their fucking twilight years acting like a diva. But man, he is way more of a diva than Favre ever was. That's all I'm gonna say, and I'm done with it.
Yeah, my last comment is, somebody asked me, I was on a Game on Wisconsin show yesterday, and Jake Morley asked me, what was your reaction, like your honest to God fan reaction when you saw the news that Rodgers was coming back?
You're like,
and I said, I wish we would have traded him. Because I've said this before, I am just done with having to worry about if our franchise quarterback wants to play here. Like, if this was a real life relationship, like if my fiance had to decide once a year, hey, we want to renew this thing. Nope, I'm out. I'm done.
Fair.
I don't care how talented he is. The organizational issues, to go back to what you said earlier about baseball, trying to get rid of a tanking culture. It's really hard to do. Trying to get rid of a culture where you're only trying to please one person, eventually that's going to rub some people the wrong way. That's all I can say.
True. I'll end it, and I won't even respond to your comment. Trubisky or Love? Who are you signing?
Right now, Trubisky, because he's touched the field.
Fair.
You know what you're getting.
Fair.
I think Jordan Love has a higher ceiling.
So a lot of
I think
Chicago.
Trubisky has a higher floor currently.
I totally said I wasn't gonna respond, but of course I'm going to. A lot of Chicago radio stations actually were saying Love because of the potential / unknown.
I mean, yeah, like I agree that he, like I just said, he has a higher ceiling, but
That's like, would you take, if right now, if I were to say, MJ, I'm going to give you $1,000 right here, or I'm going to flip this coin, heads, you get $10,000, tails, you get nothing.
wait, what?
Right.
Oh, okay. I get it now.
Would you take $1,000 or would you bet and try to get that $10,000?
I'd probably try to get the $10,000.
I'll take that $1,000 and I'll bet on something else to try to get that $10,000.
Fair, but
so speaking to that, I have been getting fucking owned betting on college basketball today.
Stop betting on college basketball.
I've been really good about it. Honest to God, like, okay, so yesterday I was doing awesome. I was doing phenomenal on college basketball. I was tearing shit up. I was getting the unders. I was getting the overs. I was getting the spreads. Oh, it was great. And let me tell you, who does not like good spreads? But, dude, today has just been bad. It's just been bad.
Hold up. When does March Madness start?
Selection Sunday is this Sunday.
Wait, so do they start next week?
Yeah.
I have an idea.
Oh, we're gonna no. If it might be the same one because like I want to do a bracket. We're gonna do a bracket. Me, you, Richie. Fuck it. We're gonna get Alex to do that shit too.
Yep.
And I'll get Eric. And then go ahead. Continue.
I think we should also record ourselves doing one together.
Oh, do you want to do a Third Down Thursdays bracket?
Yeah.
Done.
The only issue is games would have already happened that Thursday by the time our show starts.
So we'll record something. No worries.
Yeah. Well, because I open now. So Monday, Tuesday, I'm free.
Fair. So
you're off.
So all I'm gonna say is
gotta do my homework.
I gotta do my homework.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So basically what I wanted to talk about was who I think are going to be the 1 seeds this year.
Okay.
That's it. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay.
Gonzaga, Duke. I know people are going to give me shit for that. Gonzaga, Duke, Purdue, and Baylor. That's it.
Okay. I like that.
That's all I got. That's all
I really like Baylor this year.
I do too. I actually do like Baylor too. Like I was thinking about tossing some dough at them to win the national championship this year.
If I had to bet on someone right now, it would be Baylor. Let's just say that.
I don't know. I don't
like Gonzaga always lets me down. Never bet on Gonzaga.
Dude, Gonzaga's been letting people down since I was in high school. I would pick them to get to the Final Four, and I was in high school, and then nothing. I would pick them to get to
anytime that we want them to do well.
No, yeah,
destroy.
But yeah, anyway,
University #1.
Hey,
used to be.
You know what? Actually, you know what's funny about that? I don't know if that's somebody you know, but
yeah, it's a buddy from Bradley.
Oh, word. All right, good dude right there. Good dude. So when Bradley had their little run, I think they got to the Sweet 16 when they had
a hot minute ago. Yeah,
dude, I love them. I thought they were like it was fun. It was fun watching them, and I was actually really, really proud of what Bradley was doing then. So
Yeah. And right before, my freshman year, 2019, they went against Michigan State and almost beat Michigan State
Yeah,
in
man.
the first round as a 15 seed.
That's a big one right there. Appreciate it, brother.
Oh, I
Appreciate
appreciate you, my guy.
But yeah, man. I love it.
So, Bruce, would you like to announce? You have an announcement to make.
Oh, not yet. We're not gonna make it official,
No?
but there's some. I'm gonna wait for it.
Okay.
Fuck it. Let's let it run.
Okay, so I'll give you a professional lead up.
Oh, all right. Wow.
I'll give you a professional lead up.
Go ahead.
So, Bruce and I did a lot of talking when we were in Indianapolis, and there are a lot of things that he and I want to do in the next few months when it comes to Third Down Thursdays,
possibly longer,
and everything we've been building for the last 2 years almost.
Crazy.
So, with that being the first step at is something that Bruce has been wanting to do for a long time, and we are going to be expanding the Third Down Thursdays empire in a way that makes Bruce and I very happy. So with that, Bruce, what can the fans be expecting?
Wow.
More of Third Down Thursdays. So Third Down Thursdays will present now what?
So Third Down Thursdays will now present BS.
Which is
no joke.
Presenting BS for plenty of time, but now it's official. Third Down Thursdays will present to you BS, bullshit / beers and sports. So we are now expanding to talk about beers and breweries and select beers. And our new host of that is going to be myself and Eric. So right now, Eric's my guy. We've had him on before. He's very opinionated, knows his stuff. Was actually opening a place with beers and whatnot. And we're going to bring you some good stuff. It's not going to be just Coors Light. And yes, that'll probably end up jumping on there sometimes too. Oh, yeah.
But we're going to expand on that. And like the premise of the show is to talk about, yes, we're going to talk about beers. And yes, we're going to talk about sports and all that stuff. But basically what you do when you hang out with your buddies, when you hang out with friends, like whether you're being junior high, high school, college, in life, whatever, it doesn't matter what you're doing at work, anything. What do you do with your friends when you talk sports? You bullshit. All right. And it just so happens that bullshit is also beers and sports. So we're going to expand on that. Eric and I are going to be rocking that shit on Wednesdays. We're still determining the time frame if we want to do it weekly, if we want to do it bi-weekly. And then location-wise, we're going to be live. So Eric and I will be doing things live together at some point, not right away. And and he's going to give you guys, I'm telling you right now, the guy's going to give you some great stuff to try out. If you are 21 and over, he's going to give you some great stuff to try out. That's going to expand what MJ and I are doing. And we're already in talks. So this is something that MJ doesn't know about, but we're already in talks with some pretty good people around the Chicagoland area to be on too. So stay tuned for that stuff, you guys, because it's going to be some big stuff. It's going to be some big stuff.
And like I said, Bruce and I did a lot of work in Indianapolis on what Third Down Thursdays will be doing in the next few months, in the next year. So we are going to be working a lot to be providing some more good content for you guys. Definitely also going to be working to getting back to having somebody on the show with Bruce and I every single week. So that's why we started tonight with Brandon Warren. Thank you again, Brandon, for hopping on the show. That was very impromptu because of the MLB lockout. Hit Brandon up today, and he's always happy to come on. So
I got someone that wants to jump on next week and talk to us about it. I'm not going to make it official because you guys are not confirmed, but it's a good guest, and we've had him on before.
Solid. I love that.
Awesome.
Love it. So yeah, just as a general PSA, obviously Bruce and Eric's new show starting next week. We're going to get two weeks. March 23rd is our first show. There we go. And that week, my birthday is the 24th on Thursday, so we will not have a show that week. So the only thing coming from Third Down Thursdays that week will be BS. So be on the lookout for that logo, more information, all that coming soon. So
yes, sir.
Yep. And with that, it has been a pleasure as always, Bruce. A little bit of a longer show today because we had some more things to talk about. But we did good today. We were on our A game today, I believe.
Yeah, I think so too. I think we didn't have the distractions of drunkenness and distractions of like Richie jumping around behind my shoulder in the background or anything like that. So it was definitely one of our more solid efforts put forth.
Yes, absolutely. And something I'm going to do literally after we get off is all of our shows are also going to be on all those podcasting platforms now. I'm going to work more on that tonight. Make sure that we get everything up.
Good call. I forgot. I keep forgetting about that.
I know. Yeah. So
guys,
we're going to be on Spotify.
We're on Spotify. We are on Spotify right now, guys. You can search us right now, and you can find us all of our content. I have a very good radio face, so
same.
It's perfect.
Same. So yeah, I'm going to get our show from Indy, this show up. Those will both be up tomorrow morning. So make sure to watch there. Also, subscribe to our YouTube because we have that as well, and we need to start doing things there too. So all of that, all of the new stuff. It's been a pleasure to hang out with you guys. We'll be back next week doing some March Madness stuff.
March Madness, one of my favorite times of year, and hopefully my bets get better.
This is a very good time of year. We have NBA getting towards the playoffs, March Madness, baseball free agency, NFL free agency. It is going to be an incredible week. The new league year starts the day before our show next week.
This weekend's going to be fucking nuts. Let's get after it.
I love sports. I love you, Bruce. We'll be back.
I love you too, MJ. Hey, MJ.
Yes.
I still love you.